could also send it to Georgiana, please.
That would
Thank
be great.
you.
Perfect.
Yes, good. Anybody else have anything else to share? Okay, so let's move on to public comment. The commission cannot act upon items presented during the public participation portion of the agenda. Individual commission members may ask questions of the public, but are prohibited by the open meeting law from discussion or considering the item among themselves until the item is officially placed on the agenda. Each public comment or presentation will be limited to 5 minutes. So now I'm opening up the floor for public comment.
I'm not seeing anyone, and I'm not seeing anyone in the lobby or anything.
Okay. All right. Then let's go ahead and move on to item 6. So we're going to close this item 5, public comment, and let's go ahead to item 6, approval of minutes. I'm going to give everybody a chance to go ahead and look over the minutes from dated 1/5/2025 and see if there were any changes on the draft minutes that was sent. And if there are no changes or no edits, may I have a motion to approve the quarter minutes dated 1/15/2025?
I'll go ahead and motion to approve the minutes. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Motion carried. All right, so let's go on to item 7, action items. The proclamation, a draft proclamation for the Women's History Month was passed, was distributed to the commissioners. Everybody got a chance to take a look at it and let us know if you need any edits.
And let me share it. Let me share it as well, just so it can be kind of in front of everyone here.
Thank you.
Of course. Let's see. Okay, hold on just 1 second here. Oh, my computer is just not wanting to share. Hang on 1 second. All right, there we go. Let's see here. Is everyone seeing that okay?
Yes, we're seeing it. If you can
make it a little bit
enlarge it a little, yeah. In case anybody want to look at it directly there.
Yeah, I apologize. That took me a minute there, but hopefully you can see it now. Would anyone like to, do you typically read it just to kind of run through it, or just kind of go over it and see if anyone has anything they'd like to chat about?
Has everybody read it before, or they need us to read it?
I think it looks great. I don't have any edits.
Yeah, I looked at it. I didn't have any edits myself, but I just want to give everybody else the opportunity.
Commissioner Sanchez here, and I agree. I also had the opportunity to read it, and looks good to me.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I read it as well, and it looks good.
Okay, what about you, Commissioner Darling?
Yeah, I had a chance to read through it, and I'm happy with the language as well.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get a motion to approve. Go ahead and approve the proclamation for the
moved.
Women's History Month?
Did you hear me? So moved.
May I
I'll
have
go
a
ahead and
second?
second.
Okay. Motion carried. All right, so we approved the proclamation, the draft proclamation for the Women's History Month. Thank you all. Thanks everyone for looking it over. Let's move on now to item number 8, reports, discussion items. So the first item I have on here is the Rainbow Pavement exhibit.
I'll get started. I think Ben might be here as well. So I emailed Chris a few weeks ago after meeting with Ben for coffee, and Chris said our next step would be to start a working group. And so I'd like to better understand the process and get approval for us to create a working group under CODA so we could start moving forward with that. We had some interest from a local artist named Kaylee Quick as well, who was involved in a asphalt art project in the last year and is working on an asphalt art guide for the city. So score for us. I think it's a really good team. And can you help me understand how we move forward with that working group?
I do have some information from Chris that I can go over here, just kind of about the working group, what he was kind of expecting as far as people being on it, and just kind of some general guidelines for it. If I can go over those.
Yes,
Right.
thank you.
Yes, please.
So it looks like a couple things here. So he was expecting kind of a work group to come from this and that we would talk about it today. He was expecting kind of the following people to be in the work group, likely one representative from Flag Pride, one representative from FCC, possibly one artist who has been working with these groups on the project, and then possibly 2 members from CODA with special interest in the project. The CODA rep would be the chair for the working group. If the creation of a working group, if we end up creating a working group here, we don't need a formal motion, just consensus among commissioners, which it sounds like everyone was good with, but we can chat about that more. And then if we do end up creating a working group, a couple things there as well is that the working group is free to meet and work outside of CODA. They don't need an agenda or minutes. We want to make sure we avoid creating a quorum of CODA members. And then each month when we have our CODA meetings, the working group or the representative from CODA on the working group would be kind of reporting back on the activities. And then we can also, if we don't want to make any decisions today, keep this as a future agenda item to kind of come back to.
All right, so the floor is open for persons who want to join the working group. I did see someone, I think is Commissioner Sanchez, said that we're interested. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. I would love to be a part of that working group, as long as we didn't create a quorum. You know, if there was a lot of us on that, I totally understand if there's no room for me, but I would absolutely love to participate.
I know Commissioner Darling is interested. I know we have Commissioner Sanchez. Anybody else interested? Well, I think a third person would be a quorum, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And I have Commissioner Sanchez, who was going to be the other.
Commissioner Darling.
Darling, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
And I can email out kind of just those couple things I went over that Chris sent me as well, just so that we can kind of keep those in mind moving forward too, and they kind of have their guidelines there for that working group.
Wonderful. So Commissioner Darling or Commissioner Sanchez, I saw Commissioner Darling. I think she just dropped off because she said she's driving. They will just go ahead and get the other persons in the group from in the community and go ahead and meet outside of CODA and just report back to us when under item number 8. Yes?
Sounds perfect. Yeah, and I did see Commissioner Darling drop off as well.
Yes.
I imagine they would chair it since this was, their idea and their part of Pride, but I'm happy to be as supportive as possible.
Wonderful. Great. I love it when a plan works together. Okay. Do we have any more updates from any other working groups? Item B.
I think the other active working group would be the library oral history project. And we are currently on pause until we hear back from Chris on what's going on there. So we did not meet last month or this month until we get an update, which I imagine will happen next month when Chris is back.
I do have a little bit of information. He will have more information when he comes back, but if you would like just a little kind of update he provided me, was that he did have some productive conversations with the library director and deputy director about their community programs. And kind of high level is no programs have been canceled, though some are being marketed differently. And he expects to kind of provide a more thorough update in the March meeting.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's great to hear that nothing's being canceled. I think that was the main concern we had. But it would be interesting to see what they're being marketed as now, and kind of maybe get some information around the whys behind the restructure.
All right, and I'll let him know that as well, and I'm sure he'll probably cover that, but just so he's kind of expecting that. And I know Councilmember House was going to be kind of about 30 minutes late here. She had a meeting come up that she had to, her presence was required at, so she's not here right now. And then
So we could go ahead and
Go ahead.
skip then. We could go ahead and skip to item 8D if you want to jump in for Chris.
I don't have much besides kind of the library update he provided there, and he will have again more information in March. But that's all I had.
Okay.
So, well, before we move on, I'd like to take an informal moment to welcome our new commissioner. I can go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Manny Hernandez. I have been on the commission for a few months now. I think this is my 5th or 6th meeting. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but welcome to the group. I work for the Downtown Flagstaff, which is the nonprofit that puts on all the family-friendly, fun events downtown. And I work with all the small business owners to make sure that they're successful. So if everyone wants to take a moment to quick introduce yourself, and then I'll give Commissioner Martinez the floor to introduce yourself.
Actually, I thought this in the staff liaison that Georgiana, I thought you would introduce. I was waiting for you to introduce the new commissioner.
Yes, well, I'm glad
Yeah.
Manny jumped in here and was able to kind of open the floor for that. So yeah, if everyone wants to go around and kind of introduce themselves, that would be great.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Carolyn Kidd. I am the chair of CODA, and I have been a chair of CODA for maybe probably going on 2 years. I think I'm having fun. It's probably more than that anyway. I live here in Flagstaff. I used to work with Coconino County. I do have 33 plus years in human resources and customer service. And my lived experience is always to advocate for the voices that persons who feel they have no voices. So I live and breathe diversity, inclusion, and awareness. So welcome.
I can go next. Let me turn on my camera real quick. Hi, I'm Angelica Sanchez. I teach sociology at the community college and at NAU. I also work for recruitment firms, essentially helping them use equity in their processes, ensuring that they are not doing anything that might exclude particular persons from applying or having a job. I've been with the commission for about 1.5 years now, and I love all of the working groups. It's so neat to, get out and be able to talk to people, especially the library oral history project. I'm also on the city logo working group, and I'm super excited for this new working group that's about to start.
Selena, you know me. So it's so great to have you here. I think everybody else knows me. Mindy Riesenberg, I've been on the commission for I joined last year, Chief Communications Officer at Grand Canyon Conservancy. I work very closely with our tribal partners at Grand Canyon, very important to me, and a lot of LGBTQ plus efforts as well. So I am thrilled to have you on the commission. Welcome.
I can go
think-
next.
I think, okay, go ahead, because I saw Commissioner Darling just came in and out. Go ahead, Commissioner Gabler. Nice
Hi,
to
Selena.
see you.
So we know each other also. So I'm Mandy. I've been on the commission for about 4 years now. And yeah, still working in mental health and working on behavioral health, equity and equality, and making sure we're being able to provide access to people who need it the most. So awesome to have you here. Super excited that you're part of the commission now.
All right, I haven't seen Commissioner Darling coming back in. So Commissioner Martinez
I'm
or Selena Martinez. Oh, you here?
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
So sorry. I assume we're doing introductions with our background.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I'm so sorry. Sandra Darling, I locally work for Goodwill on the mission advancement side, and I'm on the boards for Flagstaff Pride, as well as CATS, the Community Assistance Teams of Flagstaff. So it's where my heart is, working with our unhoused relatives, as well as LGBTQ Two-Spirit efforts in the community. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for welcoming me. I believe that was everybody, so I'll go ahead and introduce myself. So, my name is Selena. I am from Flagstaff. This is my first time serving on a commission, so I'm really excited for this opportunity. I went to school at NAU, graduated with a sociology degree, and then I've worked in social services from shelter, working with those that are unhoused, to working with little kiddos and elderly populations. I specialize more so with the vulnerable populations, and much like Carolyn, I like to be that advocate and that voice for those that don't really have that strong of a voice in our community. And with my deep roots here in Flagstaff, I feel really passionate about that. And I am actually just starting a position with the county jail with their health provider of WellPath. So I'll be working with them. And yeah, I think that's the gist.
Yay. Welcome. Welcome. Wow. Very strong team. I am so happy to have you join our team. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so do you know if Council Person House is going to join us before we move to the next one? Georgiana, do you know?
I don't see her on yet. She said she would join when she was available. So if she gets a chance to jump on here.
Okay, so we can move to item 9, agenda for future meetings. The floor is open if anyone wants to add any agenda items for our future meetings.
Yeah, I'll provide a a brief update and ask you all if you want to add this to an agenda in the future, get your thoughts. So I believe it was 2 months ago that Hunter Haber had presented to our commission on the inclusive wayfinding for Flagstaff. Since then, he has presented to the Indigenous Commission as well as the Beautification Commission, and everyone seems to be in support. So I don't know if we're waiting to hear back from those from their staff liaisons, but um, everyone seems to be very interested, and we just wanted to keep it in everyone's mind and see if we wanted to make a recommendation to council on whether it's something that we want them to pursue and keep on their minds. Just kind of get your thoughts on what we're thinking moving forward, and to just quick give you a refresher. And for Selena, I know you're new. We had a presentation from my director at Downtown Flagstaff of something we're missing throughout Flagstaff is a wayfinding suite. A lot of communities have wayfinding signage throughout their communities, and how can we make that inclusive? So one example was in Lafayette, Louisiana. Their wayfinding signage is primarily in French and secondarily in English. So one thing we were thinking is, it could be primarily in one of our native languages and secondarily in English, and um, a way that we can make Flagstaff feel more inclusive, and also just put it into our really nice design suite that we already have in our city signage, and carry that throughout the city while also making it more inclusive as well. So I guess I wanted your thoughts to see if this is something we wanted to keep on our plate, or move it to a future meeting on if we wanted to be able to vote on it in the future.
I feel like you read my mind, Manny, because I was about to ask where we were on that. I think it'd be great to have it on the agenda for future items. I'd also be interested in, like, is Spanish something we're considering as well? Um, I don't I was also wondering where the list went. So there was I think Chris, for one of our agenda emails, sent a list of just kind of like the things that were percolating on the back burner. I wonder if there's a way to maybe like make that a permanent part of our processes, so that we always have maybe space for just like what are the things we're interested in doing that maybe we haven't moved forward on, created a working group for, or taken action on in this particular period of time.
Yes, I think the wayfinding project it's something that we want to put back on there for the future agenda, so we can talk about it. And one of the things that we didn't want to forget too is the camping ordinance. We also want that to stay on our future agenda, because I feel like if it's not there, it might be forgotten. So if we can put that back on our agenda too.
And I'm sorry, which one was that?
The camping ordinance. Yeah. Yes, it was in our last two agendas. Yeah. Mhm. Any other topics for future agenda from commissioners?
I guess just for to respond to Angelica's comment, I think it'd be great to be able to include other languages. I mean, for myself as well, I think that'd be great. Um, but I think getting the idea in the hands of council for like would be a great way to move forward, and then hopefully we can, like, I guess I don't have a complete vision, but we can work together to figure out like the best way we want to move forward with it. But I think it'd be great to be able to include other languages as well, without making it feel too busy. So maybe like different parts of town can be different languages. So I think that'd be really cool, with always English being secondary. So I think that would be an interesting way to do it. But I think that'd be cool.
I agree. One point of contention that there might be is with the tribes. and whose voice rises to the top, right? There will be discussion around that if somebody is left out or, you know, that kind of thing. So we'll have to be very sensitive to which tribes are included.
So we can put it on our agenda for future meetings, and we can definitely have discussion on that. And yet Rosenberg, Commissioner Rosenberg, yeah, that will be a contention, but I am sure that's why we're here. We are going to discuss it and make sure that everybody is included. Commissioner Selena, don't want to put you on the spot. So I'm going to call you by your first name because we have another Martinez, right? If you don't mind.
That works.
Yeah. Is there anything, I know you're new, but do you have anything in your mind that you think you would like to have us address and put in our future agenda?
As of right now, nothing really specific. I'm really just kind of taking this opportunity as my first one just to kind of get an understanding of sort of like what we're currently working towards and those kind of other things. So definitely in the future, but as of right now, no.
Okay. I'll hold you to that. Great.
I do
Good.
have one item that I'm not sure if the commission would be interested in, but it might be something to discuss next week. So yesterday, there was a letter that went out to those of us who work as faculty for the community college about the education department. And so there's essentially a call to remove anything that has DEI attached to it. So getting rid of things like student unions for particular cultures, getting rid of courses that maybe discuss racial discrimination. And I guess personally, I have a little bit of, stake because I do teach race and ethnic relations.
Right.
And so there is, a personal component to that. But I wonder if it's something that CODA does want to think about in terms of like, should there be a larger response from us in terms of getting rid anything DEI related? There isn't a lot of information out there on it. And so I don't think like it's something that I would have brought up early in terms of community comments, but I do think it could be worth putting on the agenda and discussing next month with maybe some more context attached to how this would affect our community.
Wonderful. Can we put that on our future agenda? And I do see Councilmember House hand is up. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. Apologies for being delayed in getting here, but I just wanted to give voice to, I would strongly support you all bringing that forward. What it was a memo and letter to all education partners at the secondary and collegiate and university levels, but was said to touch on all levels of schools, telling them that they had, and I believe the letter was sent on February 14th, and agencies were given 14 days to remove those references and programs. So this is something that I've already heard about personally from members of the community that are concerned about it. We discussed it at the most recent um, Flagstaff NAACP meeting. So I know that all of these federal department letters are starting to make their way down into local communities, and it's going to become more and more important to at least hear about it. And that was my encouragement to the NAACP was, unless we're hearing these narratives directly from people that are impacted by them, directly by the schools and the different divisions of work that people have. Sorry, my cat is demanding attention. Um, but um, until we hear that directly from folks, we don't know how it's truly impacting our own local community.
Right.
So if you bring that forward as something that you're wanting to talk about and can invite maybe those different groups and people that you're aware of that have heard of those sorts of things, I think that would be helpful just to make sure that we get the most up-to-date and localized information that we can.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Please put that in the future agenda. I'm hearing things around, and just as council sorry, just as councilperson House, I am hearing those things around, but I'm not getting anything directly. So I think once we put it on the agenda and we start collaborating our thoughts and inviting persons in, and then we can do a little bit of, research and also the impact, which is, and have our voices together, to make sure that people are not can't say stuff. It's like shutting us up. We can't say stuff and we can't teach American history. So, okay, I'll come off my soapbox with that, but we definitely want that in our future meeting. Thank you so much, Commissioner Sanchez. Go ahead, Commissioner Rosenberg.
I do know that it is affecting, in particular, some nonprofits, especially around funding and the scare of the language that they put in their grant proposals, things like that. We're hearing, I have some white papers on this and I can send them to you, that, the AI bots are trolling for specific language, and they'll flag it immediately and you will not be considered, even by using words like diversity. I mean, it is crazy. So I can share that with the team, but I do know that it is affecting them directly, and people are changing wording on their websites, or having debates about what to do about that. So for fear.
That is interesting. I wonder if they're going to censor our dictionaries, because our dictionary has all those words there. I'm just saying. Sorry. Okay. Any other topic for future agendas, for future meetings?
So I just want some quick clarification on what we're just talking about, and what the action that we want to be taking for the next meeting is. Is that what do we want to put on the agenda? Are we going to be voting to give a recommendation to council, or what is the goal for next meeting?
I have down discussion for that diversity item, and then kind of continue discussions for the wayfindings.
Gotcha. So I think as long as it's an action item, I think that's good. But it seems from this discussion that we're all on the same page that this is probably something that shouldn't be waited on, and we should take action in the next meeting. So if everyone's ready for that next month, then I think we should give a recommendation.
Okay. We want to have a recommendation to put is it 3 things or 4? Sorry, I wasn't keeping note. Was it 3 items for the next
in
section?
particular about
Is a
DEI,
wayfinding? Yeah.
is what I think shouldn't wait any longer.
Okay.
Okay. Considering how how quickly things are happening, just to make sure the city of Flagstaff is, from my perspective, would be taking a stance on continuing our diversity efforts. So if we want to make that recommendation to council, or wrap in our liaison as well, to be able to make sure that we have a stance on it, so we're not just talking amongst ourselves.
Okay. So kind of some discussion and action on that item. And then the continued discussion for the wayfindings. And the third item I have is to bring back a list of projects.
Yeah, and the camping ordinance, we want to put that back on there. Ordinance. Yes, please.
That's the 4th one then. Was there, just making sure, was there support for the camping one to come back as well? Just want to make sure we had support on that from other commissioners to bring that forward for more discussion.
What is, Carolyn, could you clarify what the goal is?
So we have the camping ordinance on there. And the last time when we had our chief of police here speaking about it, and he said as it is right now, they are not criminalizing it, but as it is, they're still kind of waiting. There's no 100% if anything will change on this. And the reason why I want to keep it on there, because in case something changed, we want to know, right? So it's just a matter of having it there so we'll remember it. If it's something that all the other commissioners don't want on there, we don't have to put it in our future meeting, but I just don't want it to be lost. I just, don't want it to be lost. So one of the things we did before, we always keep it on the agenda. So when discussions come up around it, it's already on the agenda for discussion. So again, it's up to the rest of commissioners if you want to leave it off the agenda. But we just need to remember that, that was something still wasn't certain what we were going to do with it. In case anything changes, we want to make sure it's on the agenda to discuss it.
Yeah, I think the list could kind of serve that purpose. I can hear myself echo. I'm so sorry. I will put this in the chat.
Yeah, it's just a matter to leave it on there because it was kind of up in the air and I just don't want us to forget it. Yeah.
All right. And now that Councilmember House has joined, was there, oh, I apologize. So those 4 items, was there any other items that I missed in there?
So Commissioner Sanchez just put something in the chat.
And so she was saying here that the list could serve as kind of keeping things on the radar. So I'm not sure if we just want to leave it as the list for now, and then when Chris is back, you guys can kind of go through that list maybe together, just since I don't have that list, and you guys can kind of see what you want to do there.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay.
All right. And can everybody see the chat? Because I saw councilperson put something on a personal note. So this has been affecting people right now with the DEI stuff. And so definitely this is something that we want to go ahead, have on the agenda. And we are going to go ahead discussing how we're going to go forward and move it up to the council level. Great. Right. Anything else?
I'm so sorry, Madam Chair. I just threw my hand back up because I wanted to suggest, and I don't know what this process looks like, to be honest with you, but the item on the advisement that's gone to schools and other places about DEI, that might be something that you want to try and get some sort of uh, I'm hesitating to say legal guidance, but I think that's really what I'm thinking is like, what could you recommend to council and what kinds of actions could we as council actually take on that? It may be something that I might be thinking like a few steps ahead, that might be more our uh, work is to figure out like what legally could we do. It's kind of in my mind in alignment with the recommendations that we've heard from people for different sorts of ordinances or proclamations or resolutions on things that really could be challenging for us to put in place or enforce based on state law, if these are things that are coming down from the federal government, like what sort of challenges could be in the way of putting something out there that says we disagree or we're
Right.
standing against this, especially with, and what's coming to my mind is the challenge that's presented to us when these are things that are being said to schools, that if you do not do this, you will risk losing federal funding. That becomes an instant challenge in my mind for the council putting out anything that is opposed to that because of the amount of federal funding that we rely on as a city. So I'm just kind of thinking out loud here on like what this really looks like. I think for the next conversation that you all have on it, it may be just at that conversational level and determining what you as a commission would like to do in terms of any recommendations that you want to send on to council, and then seeking further guidance on whatever that idea is that you all come up with to figure out, is this something that we can really go anywhere with or do anything with outside of just bringing it to attention? Can we ask for action? Like, what does that look like? So you might want to try and have someone there that can give some of that guidance. I
Thank you
can
so
also check,
much.
yeah, and I'll also check kind of behind the scenes as we're preparing for this to be on the agenda next month to see like if there's anything that I can share out at that meeting on like what that recommendation might look like.
Yeah, it's good because I was just thinking, and thank you for thinking out loud. I was just thinking too, I can tap into some kind of legal advice and some, what people are hearing and invite somebody to talk to us, on a legal standpoint, what we can and cannot do and what we should and should not do. So yes, we can all use some legal advice right now. Because it's all emotion. It could get emotional, right? So definitely, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get somebody from legal to have a conversation here with us. And Georgiana, if I can ask if you can ask on your side too. The more, the merrier. Yes.
Yep. Yes, I can
Thank you.
definitely ask.
Because we want to be lawful in everything that we do. We want to be lawful. Yes. All right. So, is nothing else? Anything else for the agenda? We are on item 9. Anything else for item 9?
Really quick.
Go ahead.
Oh wait, I'll wait till item 9 finishes.
No, we're done.
Okay.
Oh, thank you for the moment of silence.
Really quick, before I forget, I just wanted to see, also going back to the proclamation really quick, if there was a volunteer that would be able to accept that proclamation when it comes to council on the March 4th meeting.
March 4th
That's when the Women's
would
History
be
Month
read.
proclamation will be read. Yes, and we're just hoping to get a volunteer. I forgot to.
What time of the day is that meeting? I'm sorry.
It starts at 3 o'clock down here at City Hall in Chambers.
Okay, so I will go ahead and accept it.
Thank you so much.
I see Commissioner Darling, hand is up.
I would join you.
Oh, yay, the more the merrier.
Yay.
Let's make sure we have a party, but not a quorum, okay? Yes. We're going to be there singing, I am a woman, hear me roar. Okay, sorry, we're being recorded. Uh, Look at Commissioner Reisenberg. She's ready to start up the song there with us. Okay, so if there's nothing else, item 10, adjournment. I wish to adjourn our meeting at 2:18 p.m. Commission of Diversity Awareness, Wednesday, February 19, 2025. Thank you so much for taking your time off for being with us, and go in peace until next time.
Hey, Carolyn.
Adjourn. Go ahead.
Before you leave, I'm really sorry I dropped off. Can you fill me in on where we are with the working group for the crosswalk?
Sure, I can call you afterwards. We just adjourn the meeting and I can call you. Is that okay?
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Take care, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Be
Bye,
nice.
everyone.